Socialism is when the government does stuff.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Quigley, and today we're going to be making some socialist pancakes. First, let's go over what the recipe calls for. You'll need some pancake mix, milk, eggs, butter, and intense hatred of the bourgeoisie. You'll also need a pan, a whisk, spatula, mixing bowl, and a sense of impending societal collapse under the weight of capitalist greed.
We're all gonna die!
The first step is to take 2 eggs and crack them open in the mixing bowl. When you do this step, make sure you keep in mind that 50% of the world's wealth is owned by just the top 1%. The next step is to add some milk. I usually just eyeball this part, it doesn't need to be exact. You just have to remember that productivity in America has increased by 61.8% in the past 40 years, while hourly wages have only increased by 17.5%. Now that we have our milk and eggs, we can add some mix. Pour as much pancake mix in the mixing bowl as you think you'll need. Need a lot of pancakes? Use a lot of mix. Don't need that much? Use a little. Just remember that capitalism does not solve poverty. In fact, capitalism cannot function without an impoverished class of people. Now, before we start mixing our ingredients, I should mention that some people like to add a little vanilla extract to their mix for a splash of flavor. This is optional, but if you want to add some vanilla, just know that excess value can only exist when workers provide their labor to create goods. Without workers, there is no profit at all. Now that we've got all of our ingredients in the mixing bowl, we can take our whisk and start mixing. As you mix the ingredients, make sure you pay attention to the viscosity of your pancake batter. If it feels a little too thick, add some more milk, and if it feels a little too thin, add some more pancake mix. I find that getting that perfect balance usually involves thinking about how the New Deal brought the United States out of the Great Depression and was 100% socialism in action. Once our batter is nice and even, we can throw our pan onto the stovetop, which should take about 5 seconds, during which time Jeff Bezos will have made $12,445 just by existing. Next, we need to ignite the stovetop. We're going to want to get the pan nice and hot, but not scalding hot. Probably around the same temperature the Earth was in the 1970s when Exxon discovered the harmful effects that burning fossil fuels has on the Earth's atmosphere. Looks like our pan is at a good temperature, but before we can pour our batter, we should grease up the pan to make sure the batter doesn't stick. There are plenty of lubricants you can use, but I find a small slice of butter usually works just fine. Just throw it onto the pan and then move the pan to spread the butter around the surface. Try to cover the whole surface of the pan, like how the United States has 750 military bases spread across 80 countries around the world. Now that our pan is hot and greasy, we can pour the batter. You're going to want to pour your batter right in the center of the pan. You can make the pancake as big or small as you like. I usually aim for a diameter of about 4 to 5 inches. Once our batter is on the pan, we just need to wait for the pancake to bake. Generally, pancakes don't take too long to bake, probably just long enough to go on Wikipedia and read about the 1973 Chilean coup d'etat. Just look it up, specifically the CIA's involvement. Looks like our pancake is ready to flip. You can lift a side of it with a spatula just to be sure. You want the coloration to be nice and even. If it looks good, then you can flip it over. Now that we've flipped the pancake, we can see that the goal of socialism is to make the means of production collectively owned by the public and use them to support the interest of social welfare. Once both sides of the pancake have nice and even coloration, we can transfer it onto the plate and we are just about ready to serve. While most people would add maple syrup to their meal, I find pancakes pair very well with a piece of mutual aid literature, as the principles of community-based activism and cooperation in the face of societal failures complement the fluffy texture of the pancakes very well. If you think fancy books full of paper are too expensive, you can go online and look up mutual aid groups in your area as a vegan alternative to print media. If you live in the Chicagoland area, here are a couple of groups you can get involved with right now. And with that, we have finished our socialist pancakes. Thank you all for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you like this video and want to see more, let me know in the comments below. And have a good day.